The Edmonton Oilers are set to face the Vancouver Canucks in the playoffs for the first time in over 30 years, and all signs are pointing towards a really good series. The Vancouver Canucks absolutely toyed with the Oilers all season long. The Canucks started the season with a convincing 8-1 win over the Edmonton Oilers, and the losing didn't stop there for Edmonton. The Canucks would go on to play the Oilers 3 more times in the season, and every time these teams clashed, it saw the Canucks coming out on top. However, that was the regular season. Playoffs are a completely different beast. Since the playoffs have started, the Oilers look legit. Vancouver, I don't know if you can say the same for Vancouver. In this video, I'm going to be giving a breakdown on this series, giving my initial thoughts, and really just setting up a series that I will thoroughly enjoy. I kind of talked about it for the Los Angeles Kings. You know, the Oilers have played them so much in the last few years, so it's nice. You know, this is the first time they've played. I've never seen these two teams, play in the playoffs. So I'm very much looking forward to that. If you're new to the channel, guys, we're like one sub away from 4,300, I think, 4,400. So you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, thanks for clicking on this video. Canucks fans, Oilers fans, I know what you're seeing. If you're a Canucks fan, you're seeing all this Oilers stuff in the back, like this guy's going to give a biased opinion. That's not at all what I'm going to do. I want to look at both sides because I think, there are valid arguing points for both teams. Obviously, the Canucks, they were the better team throughout the regular season. But, in saying that, they kind of, I don't know if they're looking that great right now. So, I'm going to dissect, give my thoughts on the Canucks, on the Oilers this series. So, as always, guys, drop a comment down below. I literally read every single one. So, question of the video. Who do you think will come out on top in this series? Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver Canucks? And show your work. Tell me why. Why do you have reasoning to that? Guys, right away, this team is obviously a very good team. The Vancouver Canucks, they just continued to progress throughout the whole season. And you kept on expecting Vancouver to be like, oh, no, it's going to happen. They're going to start slowing things down and they're going to start losing these points. That never happened. They were pretty steady throughout pretty well the majority of the season. I think they had a 1 week, 2 week stint. But other than that, the Vancouver Canucks were one of the best teams, if not the best team in the entire NHL. Statistically speaking, they were first a few times in the NHL, which is just crazy. And it's interesting. 2 years, I've done a predictions video at the beginning of every season. 2 years ago, I said, yes, the Vancouver Canucks are a playoff team. I really believe in this team. Just looking, 2 years ago, they had JT Miller, they had Pettersson, they had Brock Besser, they had Connor Garland. Obviously you still had Quinn Hughes and you got Thatcher Demko. So I really I saw it all working, and for whatever reason it didn't work. And then last year as well, I said, no, this is a playoff team, and they sucked again. And so this year I was like, you know what? I've said they're a playoff team the last 2 years. And that hasn't been the case. So I said, I'm like, they're not making the playoffs this year. And of course, the year I say that they're not making the playoffs, they make the playoffs quite easily, actually. So it's crazy. Obviously, Rick Tocchet, what he's done, it's been great to see. And he's a Jack Adams finalist. He's probably, I'd be surprised if he didn't win it. He should win it for sure. But yeah, man, if you're a Canucks fan, you got to be stoked. But talking about all these players and what they were able to do in the regular season, that hasn't really translated to the postseason, the playoffs at all. And just looking at the big stars that haven't really, the big stars that equal the no-shows is what I've got written down here. You look at Elias Pettersson, 6 games played, 0 goals, 3 assists. He looked lost this whole series, and I bounced this off my buddy a week ago, and I'm like, man, shout out Duncan if you're watching this video. I'm like, Pettersson looks lost. And he's like, man, he's looked lost ever since he signed his extension with the Canucks. So it's kind of one of those things, and that's a reoccurring thing. You see it when players, as soon as kind of William Nylander as well, although he ended up looking okay in the playoffs this year. But as soon as he signed that contract, that extension, he kind of took the pedal or gas off the pedal, whatever the saying is. And you kind of see that when you make bank and when you get that contract, you're like, it's kind of like you do one of these and just sit back and you just don't really, I don't know, it's weird how it just something in there, it just messes with your game. So he's obviously going to have to be a lot better. 0 goals, 3 assists in the 6 games played. He was practically invisible. If I can find the clip, I'm going to roll it here. This has just got to be so embarrassing, and it is from an outsider's perspective. Him just getting toyed with when the Nashville Predators scored. He's in the middle of the celly, and he just gets a light push, man, and he's down. I don't know. That kind of shows me he's a little weak and he needs to be stronger. Maybe I'm just joking, but yeah, man, he's not alone. Now, obviously, Quinn Hughes is pretty banged up, and you saw that whenever every now and then, like, they'd pan to him when he's on the or when he just gets off from a pretty heavy shift, and he looks like he's in pain and quite and some discomfort, which a lot of these players are usually. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, the one thing I will say, like, the Vancouver Canucks, they still do have, like, JT Miller, he's a dog, Brock Besser, they're leading the team in points with 6 points respectively, but if you're looking at the teams offensively, like, the Vancouver Canucks really struggled. They really struggled scoring against Nashville Predators, and you got to credit somewhat a lot of that to Nashville, and just, you know, they brought it to the Canucks. They really did, but in all fairness, like, really, I think this series was like 2 bounces away from, you know, being role reverse, Nashville going on to the second round. I'm not convinced, and like a lot of people going into the playoffs, I did a Vancouver Canucks video saying like, they might not be that good in the playoffs, and people are like, oh, but they're amazing in the regular season. But it's like, it doesn't translate sometimes, and this is what I'm getting at. And a lot of Vancouver Canucks fans are probably going to be like, oh no, you're just a biased Oilers fan. Like, the Canucks are just gonna steamroll through Edmonton, and who knows, they might, but like, you can't put much stock into the regular season, like, you really can't, and you see it with the prime example is with the Winnipeg Jets, who absolutely toyed with the Colorado Avalanche, who are one of the best teams in the whole NHL. The last game, or like the third last game of the season that those two teams met up, freaking Winnipeg outscored them. It was 7-0 touchdown. And so, like, that obviously didn't happen in the playoffs. And it was a season sweep for the Winnipeg Jets over the Colorado Avalanche. Kind of like what Vancouver did to Edmonton. So, you got to think, obviously, and that triggers, like, the Oilers a little bit more. You have to think, like, okay, like, that gives them extra motive and whatnot. So, I see both sides, but, like, really at the end of the day, like, playoffs are a whole different beast. And like, when you look at, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who's tied for 5th in Oilers scoring, he has 6 points. He'd be tied for 1st right now with Brock Besser and JT Miller. So what I'm getting at is the Oilers stars have definitely showed up in this playoffs. And you can't really say the same for the Vancouver Canucks. Now to just take a quick look at special teams, because special teams does play a significant part, whether it's regular season or playoffs. First, let's start with the Canucks, their power play. So this is very interesting, 15.4%. Obviously, that's gonna need to improve. You can't really rely on a power play, but obviously it's super beneficial, right? And just comparing it to the Oilers, 45% for them. So yeah, the Oilers have quite an advantage on the power play, but I don't expect that to be the same. Obviously, when you have the likes of Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, Brock Besser, Elias Pettersson, even though he's not really Elias Pettersson right now, those are stars, and like that number should go up before it goes down. It really should. Now, if you look at the penalty kill, and this is very interesting. The Oilers were able to go 100% against the Los Angeles Kings on the PK. So very impressed by that. I was not expecting that whatsoever, but they did it. 100% PK, which is first in the playoffs right now. And then you got Vancouver, who's clicking at a 91. It's 90.9%, so pretty much rounded up. That's 91%. So very respectable penalty kill for the Vancouver Canucks. But obviously the Oilers, they get the slight advantage on special teams there. So, and then to Oilers fans, I just want to say, like, if you don't know, Vancouver Canucks, like, I was able to watch quite a few games this year of the Canucks, and the most worrisome thing I think for the Canucks is definitely the way they can whip that puck around, and you're going to see it. It's going to be on full display. So the Oilers are going to have to obviously clog up all the zones, and kind of. It's really impressive to watch the Vancouver Canucks, whether it's on the power play or not. Like, when it's 5-on-5, I don't think there's a team, like maybe Tampa Bay, I've kind of seen them, and maybe, yeah, Tampa Bay, they really can whip that puck around like crazy. But Vancouver Canucks, they're probably one of, if not the best playmaking team, and you'll see that. It all starts with Quinn Hughes, really. Like, he can whip that puck around on. Really good playmaker, but also like JT Miller, he's kind of a goal scorer, but he's also a really shifty playmaker as well. So like, that is one thing that's super impressive, and I've noticed with the Vancouver Canucks, and it's going to be interesting. So as far as goaltending goes, as of right now, Demko is out. Stuart Skinner, he's looked pretty good. I don't know, but he hasn't looked good in the regular season. So if that translates, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. There really is. So, guys, I just wanted to break down, my initial thoughts on this. If you've made it this far, where do I see this going? Well, if you've seen my predictions video, I have the Oilers going all the way. And I think that kind of, and if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan and you disagree with me, drop a comment down below. I honestly, I welcome all comments. I really do think that the Oilers, their stars are really bringing it this year. They clearly want it. And it's not like they're getting, lucky bounces at all. The Oilers they've found their success. They haven't had any lucky bounces gone their way or anything like that. They've made their success. They haven't had to rely on any of that. Leon Draisaitl is just looking like a beast. Their power play is just so impressive. They were able to click at a pretty impressive 5-on-5 rate against the Kings, who is, obviously a pretty defensive team, the way they play, their system is and whatnot. So, honestly, I don't see a way that the Oilers don't come out on this one. I really don't. The fact that Vancouver barely got by, and like I said, Vancouver, it should have been a sweep. It really should have. And Nashville, credit to Nashville, they made things interesting. But a few bounces going Nashville's way could have seen this series going 7 games, and Nashville could have honestly taken it. So that's all I got for this video, guys. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Thanks for all the continued support, and it all starts either Tuesday or Wednesday. They're still figuring that out. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for all the support. Take her easy. I'll see you in the next one. And don't be average when you can be above average. Peace.